And we're live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Holy Crap, the Vlogcast. Vlogcast comes from a skeptical point of view to answer some of the questions of why. This Vlogcast started as a combination of spite and the Streisand effect because, well, partly because we wanted a place of our own, and I have a minor touch of vanity, and, well, I mean, when you got Cash Feuerstein in your corner telling you should really do this, and a redheaded little bulldog telling you, yeah, you should really do this, you know, you kind of do what you're told, a little bit. Part of this is to follow through with the old adage that sometimes the journey is more important than the destination. I'm your main host. I'm known as Shujin Tribble. You can find me pretty much everywhere under that name. That's Shujin. Hi, it's good to be back. Let me go ahead and introduce you to folks. What we've got at the moment, we'll see how this plays out. Midwest of the U.S., where it's cold. Brigid, good evening. Welcome back.
Good evening.
And top left-hand corner of North America, Dalan. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, it's been. What's the technical term for it up there for cold? Come on, man. Friday night. You're supposed to know this stuff.
No, I know. It's normally barking ass cold, but not tonight.
Eh?
It is +8 in real temperature.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Not bad.
Not bad. That's terrifying.
No, that's Alberta.
No, that's terrifying because +8.
It's unseasonable.
Yes, but that also means that very shortly it's going to be down to -22 again, and that's going to be a really bad day if that's within 12 hours.
Well,
sinus pain.
Oh,
no. Now you see, I'm looking at the forecast right now because you got to love this, folks. You're listening to a podcast, and we're talking about the weather.
It's important.
Yeah. So the forecast. Today's high was 11 degrees. Tomorrow's forecasted high is 11 degrees. We dip a little bit down to 3 on Monday. But then we go back up to 6 for Tuesday and Wednesday, dip down to 5 on Thursday, and up to 7 on Friday.
Okay, now I am properly terrified because people are probably thinking to themselves, well, no, wait a minute. That's above freezing. That's good, right? No, it's not. Because the ground is cold. It's not lava. It's cold, which means everything that is melting has to go where? Not underground. Well done. Do you think I know a little something about this? I think I do.
Actually, I'm thinking right now you're just hunting for an excuse to be pissed off at something.
Sure. Yeah, why not?
Just saying, you know.
Well,
go home, Mother Nature. You're drunk.
No, but really, no. To be fair, when it comes to Alberta, at least southern Alberta, yeah, I know I said it.
He said the thing.
I'm Canadian. I can say it. As I was saying, sorry, I got like 3 chats going on at once here. Completely lost my. Okay. Because of my proximity to the mountains and the fact that the mountains do love to play with the weather.
Yeah, true.
The weather patterns where I live are fairly up and down. And I can tell you from experience, and I've lived here for a couple of decades now, and I can tell you that this time of year, yeah, the weather goes wonky.
Technical term.
Mother Nature does. I'm pretty sure Mother Nature did get into this stuff before Canada legalized it. So to say that the weather here can be a little unpredictable, yeah. You know what? If you can make it as a meteorologist in Alberta, you can write your own ticket anywhere in the world. Trust me.
That's fair. And I made a special of introducing Brigid this time out first because she kind of missed out last week. And we were concerned about you. Do you want to explain to them what happened, or shall I?
Yeah, I laid down to, take a nap because I've been feeling kind of fatigued and under the weather and slept 17 hours. That was a long-ass nap.
So it's fair to say she missed her appointment with us. Ooh.
Yeah, I woke up about 3:30 a.m. and I was like, oops.
Yeah, we're kind of getting away from power nap and more into like, what is it, Rip Van Winkle here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I died. I was like comatose.
You're on cat time schedules now. And I can't say
Sounds like
Isabella.
it.
Perfectly understandable. So everybody, of course, welcome back. Good to have you back with us. If you're with us live, of course, you can take advantage of the chat. Stephanie, hi. Did see you over there. Of course, we chatted briefly. I'll come back to my portion of the weather in a moment. And Felis, hey, hon, good to see you over there. Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to get the headache meds in me, so I'm a friggin' idiot. It's gonna be one of those nights. First off, as far as to what I'm drinking, this purple concoction, yes, it is purple, this is loganberry juice, so that people can look at it and go, what?
What's loganberry juice?
Loganberry juice is something that started, there we go. Anybody that goes ahead and says that was an old man grunt, screw you, all right? Loganberry comes from Crystal Beach. In Ohio, it is an amusement park out there, and it's where it started. It's a combination of several successive evolutions in gene technology of mixing different berries and whatnot, and it's basically what I've got over here is basically just syrup from the loganberries. And the funny part of it is, this stuff you can actually just raw use as a topping on ice cream. But with mixed as a 5-to-1 with water and ice, technically, although I don't bother with ice because I don't make ice, because when the hell do I ever need it? Because every time I go to get ice out of the freezer when I need it, oh, look at that. It's all sublimated already. So why even freaking, whatever. And apparently this started, like I said, along the Great Lakes, so around Ohio. And it kind of made its way around both sides of Lake Erie. So up here around the Buffalo market, it's a fairly common to have. And I didn't know anything about it until I moved up here. And my wife is just like, all right, how about we go to Mighty Taco? You've never been there. What's a Mighty Taco? Okay, well, it's, how Burger King is basically fast food barbecue burgers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Mighty Taco is kind of the same way, locally owned and operated for something resembling Tex-Mex. Okay. Well, it's so it's like Taco Bell? Oh no, it's far better than Taco Bell. Okay.
But what does that taste like?
It's good. Mighty Taco has consistently worked with very, very good quality, real chicken, for one thing. And they used to pad out their ground beef with oats in order to partially stretch it a little bit, but it was also something that gave it a very specific texture that when everybody got all pissy about it, they were just like, okay, you know what? Fine, we'll take the oats out. And people are just like, it doesn't taste the same. No shit, Sherlock. But
Oh, I meant your juice. What kind of flavor is that?
It's berry. I don't know exactly how to describe it. It is not a strawberry. It is not a grape. But the closest I could give you would be like what are the purple grapes? Concord grape? Am I thinking the right one? Yeah. Something along that line. Now, reminding you, I don't like berries, but I love this stuff because that's originally where I ended up having it, because Mighty Taco, that's one of their staples, and I fell in love with it. I love it. I don't get it very often, but I had gotten the bottle for Tiny Tribble, who is, as of today, back at college. And hence the reason why, if you're looking at me on screen at the moment, you will see I am wearing the big, fluffy, pink and white robe, because I spent a good portion of the day out, and a good portion of last night out outside. So I'm kind of feeling very much in the I don't want to be doing nothing kind of mood.
It's so cold.
Yeah. So yeah, over here in the Buffalo market, it's been like -16, give or take, for, a week. It's hovering. And again, real temperature units, thank you very much. No, not Kelvin, because Kelvin doesn't go negative. And it's not Kelvin degrees either. God, I'm freaking nitpicky.
But
Later.
you're talking -16°C?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. All I can say about Kelvin is that if it hits 0, you're in for a very bad day.
That's very true. If you hit negative Kelvin, congratulations. You get to redesign the next universe. Anyway, so I go out maybe once a week, maybe. And I've got no reason otherwise to go out because, So I knew that it was going to be taking the little one back to school today. So last night, after we got done with the Friday night show and after I got the show announcements out, yes, I got that out early this time. Mm-hmm. I went outside in the dark and I opened up the hood, which took a little bit of work because there's a lot of snow on top of that hood, or was.
Yeah.
And I hooked up a battery charger, which I've got, fortunately. Now, I also made sure that I set it to the lowest setting, which is a 2-amp trickle charge, because the last thing I wanted was to hear, like a half an hour later, that my battery exploded in my car.
Yeah.
Didn't want that. So I did that. And that went overnight. And, had about an hour or so left over before we had to leave. And I went back out there. I switched over to 10 amps, figuring that, it's had long enough to warm up enough. So I'm getting ready to start it up. It cranked. It didn't want to kick over. Okay, it's been sitting for a while. Maybe something just kind of doesn't want to move. So I switched the charger over to crank assist, otherwise known as starting, which shoves 50 amps through. For anybody that's wondering, is 50 amps a lot? It's enough to help start a car. Yeah, it's a lot. It took a couple of times, but it finally started. And as I'm taking the clips off of the battery, I realize that I'm seeing some copper wires frayed at the connection between the lead wire and the clip.
Oh, dear.
And it looks like there was only a handful of strands still left connected. So I don't know if it's metal fatigued and come off, or if they've heated up and the solder holding it on has melted, and I need to try to find a way of resoldering these. I'm not looking forward to that. But you know what? We're fine. We're safe. Little one's at school. He got a quick test before we got him to the school because needed. Came back half an hour later. It's like, yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's good. But this stuff is good. I did not make nearly enough. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And it's the first time in a long time that we've gone over to Timmy's and gotten some coffee. So that was good. Got Timbits. Didn't get those Beeb bits because I don't want to be associated, thank you very much, with Beeb.
There's been a bit of a meme about that going around here.
Imagine that.
Well, yeah, because there's a comedian, a Canadian comedian.
Of course.
You might know him. He did a TV show for a little while. I won't tell you who it is just yet.
All right.
But apparently he made a joke that Justin Bieber was Tim Hortons' second choice for a celebrity-endorsed snack. Because they didn't really like this first comedian's choice of what to rename the Timbits to.
Which would have been?
Well, the show that I'm talking about is called Corner Gas.
Okay, not one I'm familiar with. I was really hoping it was going to be red. I was really hoping it was going to be red green, but okay, whatever.
No, but the comedian's name was Brent Butt.
And the jokes just write themselves.
Yes, they do.
I can see I can see the commercials now. What's the guy's name again?
Brent Butt.
I'm Brent Butt, and you can bite my butt.
Actually, it was going to be another Timbits thing, but he was going to call them buttholes.
You know what? How about we save that one for Dunkin' Donuts? They could probably use all the help they could get.
Amen to that.
Even that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow. So, as always, if you join us live, chat us up. I did go looking for information on Rafe Badawi. There's nothing new, unfortunately, to be expected. As of the recording of tonight's show, it has now been 9 years, 7 months, 8 days since he was unjustly incarcerated for thought crime. Our hopes and thoughts are still with you and your family. We're still waiting. And if nothing else changes, that means that he still has a little short of 5 months on his official sentence at this point. Big question's going to be what happens at that point. Are they just going to let him go? You know, I'm having a really hard time believing that, but that's...
I think we all are.
Yeah. So we'll see how that plays out as time goes on. Trust me, I have every intention of making sure that this show keeps running until we find out. Until we get to see him and his family back together. Because one way or another, it's going to have happen. It's going to have happen. So let me go ahead and get us rolling. I'll give it to you your 5-minute freestyle. We'll have the horrible scopes and come back. And yeah, we'll see if the rest of the guys are able to show up. I'm sincerely hoping, of course, but we'll see. So, with 5 minutes on the clock, your 5-minute freestyle is escapism. And, it's something that we kind of take for granted, even though we don't really think of it in those terms. Any opportunity we've got of just tuning out reality for a while, that's escapism. And sometimes it may not seem like it, but believe it or not, of all things, doom scrolling, ironically enough, kind of qualifies. Because there's a certain point when you're doom scrolling through the timelines of, it could be Facebook, could be Twitter, could be Google News, doesn't really much matter. That, ironically enough, you're just looking. You're not really reading, you're just looking. And you see the buzzwords, if you will, go back and forth every once in a while. District attorney, DA, governor, state attorney, medical staff, etc., 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 ad nauseum. And it just becomes a blur. And that sucks. Because, believe it or not, and it's going to sound stupid, but you would do so much better. You would be doing so much more if you simply played a game. Played an online game. Played a game pre-installed on your computer. All right, maybe some of them are really chintzy. I mean, how many times can you really play solitaire before you finally get pissed off at Microsoft that, what do you mean that there's like a leaderboard for solitaire? What do you mean there are all these different modes that I need to unlock with my Microsoft password? What? No. There's plenty of opportunities for us to find a way of just enjoying time in our own heads instead of having to pull in all this other stuff that's just knocking around in our heads anyway. I mean, we know it. And that's part of the reason why, so many of us find hobbies. Dungeons and Dragons is a wonderful thing for people who just want to, make up stuff and nerdify, randomness and write stories all at the same time. Granted, there are very few that actually keep track of these stories, but they're stories nonetheless. And then you got people that decide, you know what, my hobby is going to be finding these really old devices and reconstituting them. I mean, there are YouTube channels dedicated specifically for these guys who find like old Soviet era Zippo knockoff lighters that, you know, from like the 50s that are rusted to hell. And yes, apparently nickel-plated copper does rust after a certain length of time in bad enough conditions. Take them apart, polish them up, get rid of all the gunk and grime, put all the stuff back together again, show it onto the camera, flick, just works like it was new. And watching these videos is not bad for you either if it takes you away from the stress and takes it out of your head for a little while. That's part of the reason why I enjoy and get satisfaction out of doing the radio streams that I do. Because for a couple of hours, we can just tune everything else out. We can just enjoy being in our own heads, occasionally bouncing around in mine. Because, and here's a little thing that you guys might not realize. We've lost something with radio in all these years. We've now got things like, you probably have heard of them, Jack FM, playing what we want. Meanwhile, they don't have DJs. They've got DJs that go ahead and they record intros for stuff, and then they ship those all over the place and play them at different locations whenever the hell they need them. When you had an actual DJ on air, they interacted. They talked to the people. They had a rapport with the audience. And when I'm doing this kind of stuff, I do too. And that's where the terror of it all comes in. Because every once in a while, these people are going to be dying laughing, hearing, oh my God, what's the DJ going to do? I wanted to hear Freebird. You found a bluegrass version of Freebird. Why? And it terrifies them. And that's what makes it fun. Because yes, you're scared that you're going to get hit. But it's a fun scared. It's a fun house. Nothing really bad is going to happen. And for just that little bit of time, you can enjoy just being in your own head for a change. Episode 392 on the docket. Small packages. I still can't, I still have a hard time believing that, you know, Heretic Woman is no longer amongst the before we got started, Brigid and I were talking, and I had all this great black humor that I was using, and it's fair to say that we all miss her. In different ways, for different reasons, we miss the hell out of her. And it still hurts. And it's, what is it now, 3 years?
Yep.
Yeah.
One of the jokes that I had on Facebook is that after my wife died, she was the first woman that agreed to spend weekends with me on a regular basis, but only if she could hide her face behind a mask. And there were some good laughs for that one, let me tell you.
I remember that mask the first time I saw it, and given the context at the time, I understood it, but at the same time, there is such a thing as overkill. I mean, it was a good disguise, but, in hindsight, it's just like, sweetie, just turn your camera off. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, well, it didn't exactly help that she was getting proposed by people. I'm being very, very careful about what kind of insults I use at the moment, because there are several that I would really like to use right now that are in completely piss poor taste.
Oh, I know.
But and
But
the ironic part about it was, and I think we can all agree how incredibly ironically hilarious it all was. So many of those come-ons to her were from people that she was kicking their asses all over the place because they wanted to argue the Quran with her, and she kicked them left, right, and center. And
you know what the
it was
best
a
part
turn on for
was?
them, apparently.
Yeah, well, okay, kind of wish Joey was here because, look, I'm not one to kink shame, but you do you. If that's what gets you through the night, guys, more power to you. Me, I guess I'm a little more vanilla that way. But yeah, that was the thing about that was the one beautiful thing about Heretic Woman was, yeah, you could say whatever you want, but it just made her stronger.
Yeah.
Like, she took no crap from anyone.
Oh, ain't that the case?
And she could, and the thing is, when she fired back, it was a precision 998 caliber logic bullet, or sorry, 995. Now, I say, no, I say that one in particular because anybody who knows Warhammer 40K knows that that's the caliber of a bolter round.
Gotcha.
Which is the rocket power exploding can of Red Bull.
God.
Yeah, and a lot of people would say, "Well, that's awfully insane for a bullet size."
Yeah.
Hold on. Y'all ever seen the bullets fired out of an A10?
Most folks have not.
They are the size of a long neck beer bottle.
Mm-hmm. And they're heavy as fuck.
Uranium.
I happen to know. I did not lift a DU version. I got a full metal one that my brother showed me one time. It was, in the bullet head, the actual bullet, and the casing that goes with it. Yeah. And the important part of it was they came apart so that he could show me, yeah, no, don't worry. There's no explosive stuff inside the canister over here. Don't worry. This is supposed to be like this. Oh,
good
thank you.
Safety check.
You telling me.
But when we're talking bullet sizes, this was the caliber of the logic bullet that Heretic Woman could fire back at these people.
Oh, yeah.
When she went off fortified with, like, she could back up whatever she said. And that, I know that made a lot of people very, very salty because, and given the fact that there was a bit of a gender bias on the part of the accuser and the person who was rebuffing them, that just increased the salt to like Dead Sea levels here.
Yeah, it's funny you use that one too, man. That's exactly right.
Oh, yeah, it's.
And she had people hit on her too.
Yeah.
And there was one guy, I forget what country he lived in, but he was, propositioning her and sending her pictures of his, 6-pack abs and stuff like that. And,
Okay, well, you know what? If he'd gone a little more explicit, maybe she would have said yes. Who knows?
No. He said that it would only cost like X amount of dollars for her to fly over there and have a good time with him. And she's like, sweetie, I could spend $5 on a pack of batteries and have a better time here.
Maybe I should have labeled this one as a non-safe episode, but you know what? Too late now.
That was hard.
It's too late now.
Hey, that was just innuendo, okay?
That's true.
Count.
That's true. That's true.
All right. But just the insinuation that she had toys that would be a lot better than him. I was like, man, that was harsh.
And speaking as a male, when you do get that kind of rebuffing from a woman in whom you're interested, it hurts. I will not lie. Now, I've never had it done to me personally, but there is this male sympathy thing. And Shujin, you might deny it, but ask me, riddle me this. anytime you're watching a movie and you see a guy get kicked down there, do you not flinch?
I cannot tell a lie. Every goddamned time.
Your Honor, I rest my case.
By the way, does anybody remember roughly how much it would be to fly to somewhere in the Middle East? Is it more than $1,300, $1,500 round trip?
Probably.
Yeah, I would say that's a rough estimate. Yeah.
Okay, because I just pulled it up on their official website with free shipping for 1,245 American rubles. You can just buy yourself a Sibian in various different colors. So keep that in your back pocket, ladies. Trust us, that'll be the best $2,000 that you'll spend in a. I don't know. I've never.
You know, at least you mentioned the Sibian and not the 55-gallon drum of what they shipped to Oregon that one time.
Yeah, but if you're interested in becoming an expat in Italy, there are some smaller villages where you can actually buy a house for like 10 euro.
10 euro. That's right. So long as you commit to renovating it, which means that you're going to put a lot into it. But yeah,
or staying there permanently.
Yeah,
if it's a smaller village.
I've actually thought about that, but truth be told,
There's no place to earn a living there, though.
Yeah,
in those small villages, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Well, if you can get a decent internet connection in there, given remote working these days,
that's true.
There are possibilities.
You know, I could actually see myself finally starting on leatherwork, but that's neither here nor there. We'll deal with that. Let's go do the horrible scopes because once we get back, oh my God, the stuff that we're going to, oh my God, we're basically going to roast the shit out of her. And the best part of it is it will be true and it will be worth it. And if she's got a problem with it, she can talk to me directly tonight after I go to sleep.
Yeah, a bit of a spoiler. Something happened tonight, completely organic, that dovetails into tonight so perfectly.
Oh, God.
You'd think I planned it, but I didn't.
This time.
No, I can guarantee I didn't this time. But let's get on with this.
So it is that time. Folks, if you do know what your astrological sign is, cool. If you don't, it doesn't matter. Copy off of somebody else's homework because you're used to doing that, aren't you? You're the type to go get called up in the middle of class for math and say, put the homework up on the board, and you figured it out on the board right there in front of everybody, all on your own, didn't you? No, that was me. I didn't really care. Whatever. Get you rolling. Aries. Aries, it's winter in the northern hemisphere. Oh my God, as if you couldn't tell. And food might be a little scarce for wild animal, like deer and some birds. If ever you wanted to tame some, this is your chance. Check what your local fauna is and get food particular to their diet. Unless you're trying to tame an alligator. You're on your own with those. Funny enough, last night, Dalan and I kind of kibitzed about that one. How to tame a moose.
Yeah, and I think the final answer was just let it walk up to your car and lick it because, 'tis the season with salting roads and everything.
That's what we came up with.
Good point.
And like Shujin said that, and I honestly could not counter that point.
Do not feed deer, though. I mean, seriously. About 40% of the population of male deer, are harboring COVID. So don't do it.
Well, if they're cold, if you're cold, they're cold. Bring them in. 350 at 1,400 minutes a deciliter of. I don't know. What the hell is it? I don't care.
You know how long it's been since I've had a jumper steak? Oh. Hey, look, I went shopping earlier. I went shopping a couple of days ago just to get some meat because of, what the truckers are planning to do.
Yeah.
And the price of beef. Now, think about it. Where I live, we've got a thing here. I love Alberta beef.
Oh,
there should be a caveat. Yeah, but there should be a caveat. I love Alberta beef, but I don't love it at these prices.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I'm sorry. Honestly, I saw it was like a 5 or 6 pound club pack of lean ground beef, upwards of $50.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I switched. I basically bought a tray of pork chops, a couple of big ass pork roasts to do more pulled pork, and a tray of sausages for about $40. So like I ended up with like 3 months worth of food or more, because those roasts are pretty big, for the same price as a club pack of ground beef.
Wow.
This is insane. And of
It
course,
is
you know,
insane.
well, it's supply chain is like,
Yeah.
dude. But my thought is, I go 15 minutes north from where I live. There's cattle all over the damn place. Okay, I am in the
Still
heart
has
of
to be
cattle.
processed, and yeah.
Yeah, and of course, you know, then it goes out and then it comes back in, and you know, everybody gets a little piece of the pie. Yeah, it's needless to say, I'm probably going to be off red meat for quite some time.
That's okay.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Taurus. Look, no matter what your college roommates told you, punching clowns is an arrestable offense. Now, that being said, remember that you should never tuck your thumb into your fist, lock your wrist in line with your forearm, and pivot from your hips for the maximum impact. You know, if you're going to practice on a heavy bag at the gym, you know, again, it is an arrestable offense.
Yeah.
You know.
And palm strikes are more effective anyway.
Yeah. Now, just as a caveat, if you do dress up the heavy bag as a clown, that's okay. Now, the guys at the gym might look at you a little funny, but they also might understand. You know, well, because again, it's an arrestable offense, but you know, there's that whole catharsis thing. And
Very
if you can,
therapeutic.
yeah, and if you can do it sort of prophylactically by dressing the heavy bag up as a clown, you stay out of jail, and you satisfy that urge to punch a clown.
Because clownophobia is a thing.
It is.
It is.
Which, yeah, it's
Animaniacs has taught us.
yeah. Thanks,
Clownophobia is
Stephen.
a thing.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen King. You dick.
No kidding. I do have a Stephen King story, but I will save it.
Fair.
Gemini. What the hell, Gemini? Yes, coughing is a normal bodily function, just like breathing. But there are social rules regarding flatulence. And no amount of public masking is going to help that. Do it outside. And if you can see someone walking into a building with steam coming off their rump, thank them for being considerate of everyone else. Just do that silently.
Okay, speaking as someone who's lived where it does get barking ass cold from time to time, I've never seen anyone with steam coming out of their posterior. Even after knowing that they cut loose a pants-ripping thunderclap, rectally speaking. Yeah. I'd be more inclined to say if you see, you know, steam coming out of someone's butt, they probably just had an accident and you might want to help them. Or get the hell out of the way. Because do you really want to deal with that? I don't know.
Yep. And as an aside, by the way, finally joining us because, you know, it's so cold the packets took longer to get to him this evening. UnrenownedTech. Hi.
Good morning.
Good to have you. So, what do you think? You wanna start picking up the horrible scopes where we left off, or you want to just, you know, be a slacker and just kind of wait around for a little bit?
I can pick up. What's the next one again?
Cancer.
No thanks. Fuck cancer. Sorry.
So say we all.
So say we all.
So say we all.
Look, I couldn't help it. You know, I saw the target. I had tone.
That's
I had
fair.
to take the shot.
That's totally fair.
Don't worry, Tech. I've got a dad joke coming tonight that's going to knock all of you out.
Oh, cool.
Balls.
Cancer Moonchild. There is a certain knack for some people. There's a certain knack. Oh, sorry. Dyslexia of the brain or the eyeballs. There is a certain knack some people have for dad jokes. Apparently, your aptitude is showing up like an X-Men's mutant gene. Be brave when people whine at your jokes, and ask them if they'd like to have a little cheese to go with it.
Yeah, dad joke. Apparent.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, I
No,
didn't
it was
see
not
that.
lost on me. I love dad jokes.
Yeah,
I do
that,
too.
that one I didn't see.
Yeah.
I saw the one at the end. I didn't see that other one.
It's just, see, jokes like that are what are otherwise known as hand grenades. You pull the pin, you toss it out there, and you just really hope it takes.
I'm really surprised you didn't do anything with the word aptitude.
I couldn't think of anything.
Probably would have added an extra sentence or two, though. So
Wouldn't be the first time. Leo, last week you were warned that you needed standards to stay out of trouble. This week is doubly so. So if you want to keep safe again this week, up yours again. Okay, Cancer, seriously, how did you slip in another dad joke here?
7-Eleven or 7-Up. Make 7-Up yours again.
Oh.
No.
That's going into a couple of bad places. Anyways, moving on. Virgo. Bribery gets you everywhere with us this week, Virgo. If you're lucky enough to own an older SLR camera and a tripod for it, you have the makings of some amazing astrophotographs. Now, you'll have to sit outside in the cold at night, but the pictures you're going to get are amazing. Because not too long after sundown, you'll be able to get the Andromeda Galaxy.
And that is true. I had to look that one up, by the way. That one's true.
Libra. Being the best at being the worst is just not your shtick. To that end, your advice this week is don't feed the trolls. You could engage and score points with other people, but think about your own well-being and do what WOPR suggests. The only winning move is not to play.
Really? Am I the only
Winning
one?
Move is not to play.
Am I the only one that knows how to pronounce that, damn it?
Yes.
What, Whopper?
Thank you.
I don't know what Whopper is.
Okay. Did you ever watch War Games?
No.
Okay, well, it was a
Okay.
NORAD computer called the War Operation Plan Response, pronounced like the cheeseburger, the Whopper. And it was to run simulation after simulation after simulation. But the problem is that
Tech.
a kid actually, he didn't hack into it. He
Tech.
got into it, he guessed the password, and he as logged into an account, the creator's account of Whopper. And Whopper had just enough intelligence to go a little bit beyond its programming, so it actually started to arm missiles.
Tech.
Yeah.
Felix was saying to up yours, specifically your volume. I took care of that for you. Put it to good use and read.
Yeah. Thanks, Felix.
You're next.
I was just basking in the afterglow of the up years. Scorpio, we're sorry we burned down your house and destroyed your computer during the great Pat Boone album purging of 2022. We see that you've rebuilt the computer and rented a nearby apartment. They're very nice. This week your advice is, we're proud we did it, and we'll frickin' do it again. Don't test us.
Yeah, Dalan knows.
And
Yeah.
just so that you get the point across, all is known.
Oh, it absolutely totally is.
Yes.
Sagittarius, This is not tattoo season. There is no tattoo season. That's the Goldschlager talking. We're not going to tell you to stop drinking or to stop drinking heavily. We're going to tell you to stop drinking and reading advertisements because you take them too literally. Did I even pronounce that correctly? Is that Goldschlager? Did I say that right?
Yeah, Goldschlager, yeah.
Oh, good. That's 2 nights in a row. I got it right, and I wasn't even quite sure. All right, good.
Yeah. Never had it before. Seen it. Took a look at the price and went,
It's not worth it because it's just nothing great. It's kind of like, oh, look, I've got it kind of alcohol. It's not one of those, hey, this is really good tasting and really worth the money.
Yeah, it's a status symbol.
Yeah. I mean, like, I've had numerous vodkas that, like, if somebody goes, oh, I've got Grey Goose vodka, it's like, okay, first off, you probably overpaid. I guarantee you overpaid because you bought a name, not a good vodka.
Yep.
It's not bad stuff, but there's so much better for less.
Yeah. I had a vodka once that was they said it was triple filtered. It was a premium vodka and everything. I popped the top, took a sniff. I looked at the guy and said, "Are you serious?"
Triple filtered through Brita, perhaps?
Well, I don't know, but anyways, after taking a sniff of it, I said, "Dude, I can sum this up in 2 words: Aqua Velva."
Ew.
Oh, yeah.
That is what it smelled like.
Ooh.
Ew.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
You know what? You can keep your triple filtered. You can keep your Grey Goose. Give me a bottle of Polar Ice that's been sitting in the deep freeze for about 3 months.
You know what? That's fair.
Now we're talking vodka.
That's fair.
Yeah, my vodkas that I have in my room are either from Poland or Russia or Lithuania, and almost all of them are potato grain based.
I was going to be saying that is where good vodka is coming from.
The Lithuanian one was actually from a friend, and it was surprisingly really, really good. The one from Poland is called Ultimate. Comes in this beautiful blue bottle. I stumbled across it, and it's one of the smoothest vodkas I've ever had. Does not burn. It warms as it goes down.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then I got some Russian stuff that will put the head on your chest, comrade, even if you're a woman.
Okay, moving women to Staten Island is not a nice thing to do. That was not for you. Shut up.
Okay.
Phone kicked off.
Okay, I think I better move this on now before we get a little bit too in the weeds. Capricorn, here's a challenge for you.
I love this one.
Listen to these names: Card Sharks, High Rollers, The Joker's Wild, Tattletales, Tic-Tac-Doe, and Whew. Now, try to remember which of these were actual game shows and which ones were not. Now, if you get the answer correct, you're almost due to have hip replacement surgery.
We're not going to give you the answer. You have to try to figure it out for yourselves.
That's right.
I remember most of these. So shut up.
Out of 6 of those, I could tell you which, at least 3 of them that I know for a fact are real. Because I watched reruns whenever I had a fever.
Oh, Shujin and I had a conversation about this off the air after we did this. And,
Yes, we did. And apparently some of us need to have our hips replaced, don't we?
No, my hips are fine. Thank you very much.
I'll get a 3D printer ready.
Oh, yeah, now you see, there could have been a joke there about severe underuse, but, I know Kieran's not listening. So anyway,
What was I gonna say?
somebody get us out of here.
Aquarius. The Krampus is a bipedal, hairy creature with cloven hooves, the horns of a goat, a long, pointed tongue, fangs, and chains, who normally visits the naughtiest of children in early December. We're telling you this because there are a lot of planned furry conventions before then. Until December, any dates you have with someone claiming to be the Krampus is lying.
I'm pretty sure I've seen a couple of Second Life avatars that look like that.
Yeah.
Pole dancing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If somebody is completely fursuited, does that count as wearing a mask?
Yes. but only from the technicality of they have clothed their visage so that you cannot actually see their face, not in the medical sense.
Ah,
Good point.
Although I do know people, I talked to a couple of fursuiters this past year who've actually gone out fully done up with a mask inside.
And some who've even put them on the outside, which is
I was just going to
actually
say, I wouldn't be surprised if they wore them both.
no, yeah, actually properly sized ones on the front of their masks, and
Yeah.
it's freaking adorable.
I've seen some do that. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Well, see, if you make it airtight on the inside, just get an oxygen tank, you'll be fine.
We're not going to go and talk about kigus. That's a completely different thing. You need to finish it.
Where's that astronaut suit? Pisces! The next time you're at the grocery store, buy a fist-sized bulb of garlic and a pound of locally made, good quality butter. You can roast the garlic in a toaster oven and mix that with the butter for an amazing fettuccine dinner. If you remember to pick up fettuccine, too. Make a shopping list and stick to it this week.
Bite me.
By the way, if you don't have a good, if there's no locally made butter available on your shelves, there is, at least here on the East Coast, there is an Amish made butter. It looks like a log, okay? And it's like, I don't know, 3 inches in diameter and like 4 or 5 inches long. This thing's huge, but it's one of the best tasting butters that you can get your hands on. That's not your standard, Breakstone or whoever, all the other brands, Land O'Lakes and all that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If they do online sales with these, do you need to use carrier pigeon to send in your POD? Because that's going to be really difficult to do.
No, it's the farm is Amish run. It's a group that works with them. It's like there's an Amish cheese farm in Pennsylvania that I've visited once or twice, and there's a small American family that lives right next door to the Amish community. And so they run the business. They pay all the electric bills for the machine, the pasteurization machines and things like that. They do all the number crunching, all the cash, all that. But in the meantime, the Amish take care of all the cows and the farm and everything else themselves.
Fair enough.
And it's some of the most amazing cheese I've ever had. I'm serious. People don't realize what cheese made, and ready to go right away tastes like. It's an experience to be had.
And that's fair. Those are your horrible scopes for tonight. So, for those of you that liked what you got,
Sweet.
Who's writing these? Piss off. You came in late. You don't get the opportunity. If you like what you got, I've obviously been not trying hard enough. But if you'd like to bribe us, all you got to do is just ask. I will be nicer to someone, or conversely, nastier to someone. Except for who is it that's still on our bad side? Aquarius, because fuck Aquarius, because they two-timed us a couple weeks ago. So yeah, deal with it, pain in the ass. Anyway, so now that we've got half of our talk time done, oh my god, we're gonna work on that. Okay, let's tell you a little something about Heretic Woman. That's a meta joke right there, because she was short, and she had no qualms about telling you, yeah, I'm short, and I'll kick you everywhere it hurts, because she could.
Yeah, and also the fact that she was a redhead. Like my last job got me to travel quite a bit.
Mm. Yeah, back
I
when
was
travel was
actually-
still a thing.
Yeah, and I was out east.
Yep.
In Hamilton, Ontario, and I let Heretic Woman know that I was going to be out that way, and she was only about 15, 20 minutes away.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
So-
15,
You ran
20.
there that fast?
I thought you were going to say 15, 20 inches shorter than you. Shit.
Well, as it happens,
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, actually. That's the
As-
funniest part about it.
as it happens, we actually did agree to get together, her, me, and Arno.
Mm.
We went out for dinner. I actually drove to their place, picked them up, and yeah, she came up to a little bit below my chest.
Yeah. Yeah, she now, reminding you folks, Dalan and I have met in person because that's how that works. Oh God, when was it? Was it 2009?
2010. 2010.
2010. And yes, I did comment on the size of him. Dalan is a tall boy. And
I am 6'3", if anybody wants to know.
yeah, and I am okay, excuse me, everybody, just cover your ears for a second. Fuj, fuck you. God damn it. I am 5'9" 3/4 inches tall. You pain in my ass. I had, and when we met, it was a little disturbing for me that I had to look up and up in order to, talk to him, which was, okay, you know what, whatever. After a couple
Now
minutes,
look up. Look way up.
yeah, and no big thing for me. But then again, there's quite a difference between 5 foot almost 10 and oh God, what did she qualify as? Like a meter and a half, maybe. I don't think she qualified as even 5 foot. I think she was just shy.
But she was, yeah.
What was she?
Because I'm 4'11", she was about my height.
All right, so
Okay.
4'11". We'll give her that.
Yeah.
But oh my God, it is fair to say that what that woman lacked in oh God, let me coin a term here, verticality. You know what? Sure, I'm going with it. I don't care. What she lacked in verticality, she more than made up for in overall RAM usage in Chrome with having fucking 32 tabs open one night when she was with us. That bitch. And that was only one browser, and she had like 3 of them open at any one time. 3 different browsers simultaneously because she was insane. Because she was goddamn insane.
She was looking. Again, this goes back to, what we do here
Yeah.
every week, or what we did here every week. Back when we were sort of in the thick of the war against religion and religious thinking.
Yeah, which I'm really thinking about getting far back into a lot more because,
Well, yeah, and I could scream about that, but that's another story.
yeah, I'll explain when we get back.
For her, it was a passion.
Oh hell yeah!
And a lot of it was because of her upbringing. Like, she said that she was part of a Calvinist church for a while, and those guys are
Yeah.
They are
whole
no-
other
they are-
plane. They're on a whole other plane of WTF. Like, honestly.
They're no
Yep.
joke, man.
Yeah, like this is like where Fred Phelps comes from. That kind of thinking, these hardline people that, to them, the Bible is, to quote Bill Maher, it's treated like some kind of Bible. And I've got a page brought up right now that, oh boy, we'll get to it.
Okay.
Yeah, but the thing with, like I said, the thing with Heretic Woman is, she was brought up probably through the worst of it. So she had a massive hate boner for these institutions.
And rightfully so.
Yeah. She was dealing with the kinds of institutions that destroy lives.
Yep.
And I don't necessarily mean by killing them, but like also taking away your ability to function, like to think, to be what it is to be human.
You know, you got me to thinking about something that I want us to hit on in a couple of moments, though. Brigid, your interactions with her, wow. You remember Reason Con?
Yeah.
That was friggin' trip, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh God.
And I was so afraid that I was gonna get busted because of something that Dave Photo had posted on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah. We were in his hotel room at ReasonCon, and so she and I were up all night, and we were talking how much she hated hockey and poutine and all this other stuff, and then we ended up talking about metal music and Tchaikovsky and all sorts of other stuff, and he was over in the corner by the little mini fridge on his phone on Facebook, and he posts, I've got 2 hot chicks in my room, and what are we doing? They're talking Tchaikovsky and whatever, and I'm on Facebook. It was just funny.
God, the most anti-Canadian Canadian. Good Lord.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, she was.
And she was great about it.
But she did give me a keychain that I still have that made me an honorary Canadian.
And you've got one of her water bottles.
I've got one of her water bottles, and I've got her Star Trek shirt, spay and neuter your tribbles. And I've got her little headband that had the skull and crossbones on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've got that one, and a bunch of her necklaces and things that she had made.
Which color water bottle is it, by the way?
Blue.
Of course it is.
Yeah, Sammy got the hot pink one, but I've got the blue one.
For anybody that's wondering what's so special about this water bottle, you don't know. And this is
She got them at Pride.
This is not a not safe for work episode, so there's only so far.
Yeah.
They're shaped like penises, okay?
Yeah,
they're shaped like
she got-
penises. The heads
she got
come
them
off of it, and you suck on the straw in the middle. You're basically drinking straight through the urethra without the glands in the way, okay? Are you happy now? Now you know. Now you can't unhear that. Tough.
And I'm suddenly no longer thirsty.
And there was one episode that we did at the end of it where she had attached it to her forehead and said, "Look, I'm a unicorn."
Oh God.
Sadly, that's not nearly the first time that joke's been made, but then again, I'm in the furry fandom, so I've seen it a half
But
dozen
I
times.
and Photo would have like the best times, on Facebook in the middle of the night, like if I had insomnia or whatever, and we would get into meme wars.
Yeah.
And she would come up with some really funny ones, but that was a hoot.
Back when doom scrolling could actually be a fun thing. Because the black humor that would come out of you guys sometimes.
I know, right?
Well, and the thing is, back then, black humor was still more the humor part for most people.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the problem. There are a lot of different... Okay, yes, this actually does tie along with the whole damn thing, so just bear with us a second. Black humor is one of those things that's really difficult to do right. And it's not just if you just follow Monty Python's example... No. See, me being able to curse out my wife, who is dead, by the way, I can get away with that because the absurdity of a box of ashes inside my living room is not going to answer back. Although, God, that would be really, really cool if it could. Oh my God, I'd sell tickets for that.
Or you might want to have your prescriptions checked. Just saying.
Well, see, no. Yeah, but no. black humor is one of those things, man, where part of it is a coping mechanism, but part of it is also, in this particular case with Heretic Woman, absolutely, it has everything to do with honoring the personality that started the whole damn thing rolling.
Yes.
She
Yeah.
would be she would be digging deeper and harder than even we are right now.
Well, okay, so let's wind it back a little bit to the old Dean Martin roasts.
Which okay,
God.
now wait a minute. Before you go further into that one, the whole up yours thing is a direct ripoff from one of the Dean Martin roasts.
Yeah. But
It's a
now
good-
that
it's a
was
good
one.
joke.
Now, some of the celebrity roasts. Now, and of course, the tradition was carried on long after Dean Martin stopped.
Yeah,
You know, there were other people that did do celebrity roasts,
yeah,
and it was a way of honoring certain people, you know, who could appreciate the black humor, the barbs, the insults, because there were some that were, you know, maybe a little thin-skinned that didn't want to participate. Like one that really shocked me was Michael Landon. Little House on the Prairie,
Yeah.
Highway to Heaven. Yeah, I don't know if he got roasted or if
Oh, yeah, he was.
part of a roast. Yeah. Okay, so there's Mr. Mild-mannered family guy turned now into angel, running around with another guest star from Little House on the Prairie, doing things. You know, he seemed very mild-mannered, very politically correct, very gentle. Oh man, when it came time to his roast, holy smokes, did he give as good as he got?
oh yeah.
But the thing is, like, that sort of dark humor, that black humor that was used in those kind of situations, it was a way to honor them in their own way.
Yep.
Which these days, I'm not going to say it's a lost art, because black humor is still out there, but how people accept it is a lost art.
You know what? If you're
Yeah.
not going to say it, I will. Because there was definitely a difference in the tone back from the 70s and early 80s for those roasts. Yes, there were barbs. And Mr. Wonderful himself, even Don Rickles, when he would lance into somebody, it was still with love and respect. The tone has changed over the years, where now it is far more of the, I'm gonna find the line that is just before I'm gonna get punched.
Yeah.
And that's really not the way that it ever was. And like I said,
Well-
as an example of it, the one that I'm using, borrowing, blatantly stealing from, was when they were roasting Jackie Gleason. You might know him very well from The Honeymooners. Well, one of the people who came on to roast him was Art Carney, who did not come on as Art Carney. He came on as his alter ego from The Honeymooners, Ed Norton. And he can't, oh God. Foster Brooks is also another beautiful one. Anyway,
Yeah.
so Art Carney comes on. He's doing Ed Norton, and near the end of the whole thing, his thing is that he's supposed to be delivering this message from the Water Buffalo, or whatever the name of the group was. I'm probably mixing it up with the Flintstones, and he I forget exactly what it was, but it basically came down to him saying, and from all of us, we know how much that you would like us to up our mood for this whole affair, and from all of us to you, up yours too. And it was the end of it all, and it was just, I, to this day, still will every once in a while pull that one up just so I can watch that one and just have my jaw drop and realize he freaking got away with that in the middle of the 70s. Holy balls.
Yeah. And the thing, like you said, about, you know, how far can I get it to that line just before I get punched? Yeah. You see, at that point, it becomes less an art and more a competition.
Yeah,
And it should stay as an art.
I agree.
because the
Like
thing
the
is,
art of Oscar Wilde.
yeah, but the thing is, if you do wind them up, if you get to that line, the trouble with it there is that line can be very volatile. And you catch that guy on a bad day,
Mm-hmm.
he might just say, screw the cameras. I'm going to break this guy's face.
Yep.
I'm glad it hasn't happened yet. But you look at some of the vitriol that's out there these days and what people are trying to get away with.
Oh, yeah.
It's brutal. And I kind of miss, just even a few years ago, I miss some of the barbs that, we used to throw back and forth against, the Phelpses and the Osteens and the, back when we were all sort of in the pocket with Heretic Woman, who, again,
drove a lot of that. Now we'll admit it freely.
you see, I would have loved, like we got a local here, Jazz Cross.
Mm-hmm.
And she has engaged a few of the street preachers around here.
Yep.
Now, there's one I remember. Now, I haven't been downtown in many a year, but when I used to get on the train at the City Hall station, there was a dude out there, a street preacher, who on a good day would actually do barbecue. So you could have your chicken with a side of Christ. In other words, if you wanted the chicken, I think you had to listen to him. He used to put up signs against City Hall saying, like the mayor is corrupt and the mayor is the son of Satan. At least right up until the flood happened a few years ago, and that was when the mayor really got his chance to shine.
Okay.
No, because when Mother Nature decided to finally take a dump on my fair city, he walked in the door and said, "All right, you and you get this done. You and you get that done." Like he was just in perfect mode. Within 48 hours, we had things running again.
Nice.
Even though the water was still going. So I mean, like, it was funny. After that, all those signs disappeared. He was still out in front of City Hall doing, chicken with a side of Christ, but at least the vitriol stopped. To my point, Jazz would actually confront this person. I know she has a few times. I would have loved to have seen Heretic Woman go after these people. Just, again, with that razor sharp wit and everything. It would have been just beautiful to see.
Oh, yeah.
When she was here, if we'd had more time, she actually came out and visited one weekend. That was kind of fun in itself, especially trying to get her back to the airport.
Oh, God, I remember. What was it, like 15 minutes before she had to be there? It was like, scrape the teeth.
Yeah, they were actually waiting for her before, like she was the last one in on the plane. Damn. And all I'm thinking is, thank goodness she didn't have to go through customs.
Another funny roast, now that I think about it, is Robin Williams roasting Richard Pryor.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
That was done with love.
Yeah. Was that when he was still high on coke?
Which one of them?
Yes.
That's the point. That's a point.
That's a fair point. Just saying.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
Yeah. But
yeah, Robin Williams had a really, really bad addiction habit with cocaine for a while. Those of you that didn't know about it. Most of those specials that you saw on HBO, those one-man specials, yeah.
Well, there are several comedians who all agree that comedy comes from a dark place, a place of pain, and that you have to know and experience that pain before you can share it with others, with the laughter serving as the catharsis to the pain.
Yeah. I think there's something to be said for that.
Yeah, if I remember right, Mel Brooks had said that comedy is, let's see if I remember it right, it's tragedy plus distance. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Because what happens, something that happens that's bad to me gets funnier the farther away you are from the experience. So you see some you see some kids out there trying some tricks on their skateboards, grinding down a metal pipe, and they impact their coccyx. I said that correctly. Don't adjust your set. That's funny to us, even if we wince. We will wince really hard, and we will laugh really hard at the person while they are writhing around going, "Oh, that hurts," and maybe laughing themselves just a little bit. God, that was stupid of me. Why the hell did I do that again? You know, the again part, by the way, is comedy gold right there. You should remember that one. Keep that one for later. But it's hard to argue with the fact that comedy comes out of tragedy, regardless of whatever extra pieces you put into there. And I would be hard pressed to argue with, of all people, Mel freaking Brooks on comedy. I mean, sadly, he's one of the next ones that we have to worry about going, because, I mean, he's kind of up there. Sadly.
I did a quick look for that thing, and I couldn't really find that one, but I did find one that I thought is just hilarious.
What's that?
Tragedy is when I cut my finger. Comedy is when you walk into an open sewer and die.
Yeah, comedy is the Darwin Awards.
Yeah.
Which kind of
Tragedy is the person who was a candidate for the Darwin Awards but survived.
Yeah, he's got a few other ones here too. I've been accused of vulgarity. I say that's bullshit.
That's fair.
Let's see. Hope for the best, expect the worst. Life is a play. We're unrehearsed.
Ain't that... You know, I'm going to say what these kids say these days. Ain't that a freaking mood right there, man?
Yeah.
It's true.
Oh, wait. I guess some of these are movie quotes, too, because he's actually got one in here that I remember from History of the World Part 2. The only thing we don't have a god for is premature ejaculation, but I hear that it's coming quickly.
Part 1.
Yeah, part 1.
You said part 2.
Did I say part 2?
You said part 2.
I am so sorry about that. I meant to say part 1.
I'm really insulted now.
Hey, look.
Part 2 is going to be a series.
I was going to say, in my own defense, I really wanted that part 2 because, God damn it, I want a movie I can laugh at again.
Tell me about it, man. that is so true. All right, let me backtrack just a little bit, because there's a piece that's true, and it kind of hurts me to have to admit it. Part of the reason why this show has kind of morphed away from the original idea of tackling all things religious, a good portion of it is, you're not going to believe this one, and I'm going to have to explain it, boredom. Nothing has changed as far as religious anything since we started. Now, admittedly, we've not exactly been on the air for 6.5, 7 years. What are the point being is that if in our little time we've not seen anything that's even close to like novel, why the hell are we even bothering? There are some things that we should really get back to and really at. As a matter of fact, we may have to yet again talk about Era Dust Part 3 in the near future, for those of you that don't know about that one, because the goddamn SCOTUS is looking again at this ex-coach from Washington State who said, no, man, I'm allowed to invite all the football kids and everybody around in my official capacity to pray on the 50-yard line in front of everybody, because, I mean, I just am.
Yeah. And the thing about that is that if they have to bring it up to the people that are supposed to be the arbiters based on the Constitution of the United States.
For the second time they're doing this.
For the second time. So,
and they're actually looking to talk this one through.
Yeah, these guys have more money than common sense.
Ain't that always the case?
given, again, not to get too much here, but given the composition of the people of SCOTUS at this point,
Yeah.
I don't think it would actually look good optically if they let this one go through. Because you think about it, given, again, like I said, given the composition of the Supreme Court right now, if they side with him and say that, yeah, he should have been allowed to do it, what's everybody going to think? The term shill comes to mind. The term voting on party lines comes to mind.
I have a suggestion. And I think I speak for all of us when I say we need to make more satanic temples available.
Well, there is that, but I honestly think that they would be shooting themselves in the foot if they let this one go, because this guy is in blatant violation of his employment, really.
Yep.
Which SCOTUS has no basis on.
Yep.
So I hope they stick with it. I hope this time they do it again and they just say, you know what, get the hell out of my face.
You can say get cranked.
Okay, get cranked.
You can say get fucked.
No, I'm not going to.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. Phyllis, when you ask the question, what, we need a little bit more context for that because we're like 30 seconds past where you are.
So probably wondering about what we meant by the whole thing, and what it is that there was a coach who during football games, i.e., when he was on the clock, was inviting or was trying to get prayer circles going with the teammates when the school said you can't do that. And if you're being paid by us, and there's an old saying, you wear, okay, it was said a little more elegantly than this, but I'm going to say it right now. You wear the colors of the man that signs your check. In other words, if you're on the clock and getting a paycheck from somebody, for the time you're on the clock, you wear those colors, you follow those rules. Now at 5:01 p.m. when you're off the clock, you can go do whatever the hell you want. But from that time that you are on the clock, you are expected to behave a certain way. That's how you behave if you want to stay employed.
Yep. And the school district basically told him, look, you can't be doing that because state church separation is like a thing. And when you're on the clock with us, you're part of the state. You're not supposed to be doing that, especially not with like all these people in public. Don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
He freaked out. He called whichever Christian law group it was to be on his behalf to say, hey, you're restricting his First Amendment rights. And they basically said, no, he's not supposed to be doing this. And the courts have basically said, school district's right. Get cranked. And SCOTUS originally, when they had it passed over to them, was just like, we're just going to kick that back to the earlier courts because we don't think that, no. But now it's coming back and it looks like it's going to get a hearing.
Yep. Because
am I, I know this is not one of those non-work safe versions, but you know what? SCOTUS, you guys can just get fucked.
Yeah, well, it's probably going to come back 6-3.
Who's pushing it for SCOTUS? Who's getting them to get it in to get a hearing? What's changed between then and now? Is it because of a couple of people they've appointed, or what?
Yeah, because the layout of SCOTUS has changed. It is no longer intended to be find a good balance so that the court can actually find its way through. It's now set up such that, and by the way, Mitch McConnell, you can get yourself fucked too. It's now set up in such a way that there is an intentional conservative majority. Evangelical, especially. Conservative majority.
That's your problem right there is the evangelical part.
Yeah.
And that needs to go. And that's what I'm saying. It would be extremely bad optics if this actually went through, and this guy was found to be in the right.
Yeah, and that's why I'm
that's
saying.
the way it's going to go.
But
And
Bridge, what
three
I'm
of the-
saying, if they do that, the backlash is going to be severe.
They don't care.
Well, they might have to, because yeah, you thought Seattle was bad in 2020? I'm pretty sure if this one goes through, they're going to find some other place to vent.
Well, now see,
Well, they
that's
put the 3 on the court, for that purpose, and they're, also, Federalist Society members and stuff like that, and they were purposefully young, so they're going to be there for decades.
hence one of the reasons why there is a push to extend the courts, which I'm all for a different reason, but later. But
that just muddies the waters even more and makes it even more non-functional.
Well, possibly and potentially. Okay, the short version of my ideal is there are currently 13 districts for federal courts. There should be one. There should be one SCOTUS judge for each district. And they have the opportunity of basically overseeing each of those districts. And when they convene in order to straighten out whatever's happening with all of the districts, which would then mean an odd number, which means there will be, one way or another, a decision unless there is some reason why there is a recusal or for whatever reason there's suddenly an even number.
Well, what really angers me, I mean, Clarence Thomas has no business being there, and
Several of them don't, but that's me.
And his ethics violations are so severe that he should be impeached. And this whole January 6th thing, when that comes up, especially with his wife being involved in it, he should recuse himself, but he's not going to.
See, this is another thing that I know for well that she would be ragging on. And it's not just the religious aspect of it. It's the I'm sure that we've heard her say before, do your freaking job.
Yeah.
I might be paraphrasing just a little bit because I've used way
Jenny
too many
Thomas?
No,
Heretic Woman.
Oh, Heretic Woman. I'm talking about Clarence Thomas's wife.
No. I know, but we had heard Heretic Woman say on multiple occasions, do your freaking job for whoever it is that's supposed to be in whichever office when they're not doing their thing. And she has railed against everything from presidents, judges, premiers, governors, news reporters, not journalists.
You're not doing your job. You got no business being there.
Right. And remember, not journalists, news reporters. There's a difference. We've talked about that.
Yeah. And, we have journalists, and then we have people who just journalism.
Yeah.
And they journalism all over the airwaves. And we talked about that last week.
Pieces, of course.
I wish she'd been here for the first International Day of Truth and Reconciliation. And what happened because of that.
See, now that's the one that you're thinking of. I was thinking, oh my God, how much she would have flipped her fucking shit. And I'm getting away with saying it this time because it's true. Imagine her when the information started coming out about all of those children buried outside of those schools.
Oh yeah.
That would have been the spark to the fuse.
She would have gone absolutely berserk.
Yeah, but it would have led up to September 30th and what our golden boy, the aw shucks babyface prime minister that the entire world fell in love with because he went to the Tragically Hip concert. And I'll give him props for that one because I thought that was a really neat thing to do given the circumstances. But you created this. You proclaimed it in Parliament. This was the first day, and it was supposed to be the one gesture that I have been waiting for decades. You heard me rail about, this one guy, this Minister of Indian Affairs, asking every every prime minister to apologize. And at first I didn't understand. And I just thought, you're just a pandering, attention seeking. But now I know, because I learned. I got a sense of the impact. You may have heard a lot of people say that, we weren't taught this in school.
Yep.
It's true. I knew nothing about this kind of stuff. And I'd like to think I got educated fairly well, given a small town. I actually had some chick out here tell me that, so you're from one of those have-not places. I'm like, yeah, how many times has your kid had to go home because of a school strike? I'll give you my answer. None. Me. Okay? But I never learned about residential schools. I never learned about what was being done. As a matter of fact, when I first started hearing about it, when people were, screaming about the Anglican and church and what their involvement was, I was like, what are you talking about? And then when Heretic Woman and I went to this convention out here, when she came out, residential schools was part of the agenda for the show, or for the convention. And again, this is the first time I'm hearing about a lot of this stuff. I'm like, what is it? And that's when I first learned about the Indian Act, which is, well, let's just say it is an actual example of something of a certain two-word phrase that a lot of Americans are using right now, but apparently can't find any proof of, at least that I've seen. I could be wrong, but anyways, finding out what it meant, finding out what the residential schools actually did to people. So, yeah, this is a huge mark on our nation. Like, we really can't look down our noses at a lot of places now, because we are just as guilty, if not worse, than some places for what we've done. And on the day to finally recognize it, make it a thing, and give the opportunity to maybe start healing, what does this motherfucker do? He goes surfing with his family on that same day.
Didn't have to be this way.
And there was so much... There was a fair bit of time between when he got busted for that versus when he finally apologized. And quite frankly, after that, I mean, I didn't really trust him before because, well, he does bear the name of another Western-hating prime minister. I have no respect for him anymore. His whole thing about why did you make your cabinet half female? And he goes, because it's 2015. Yeah, that was a publicity stunt. That's what it all feels like right now. All he did is just pander so that he could get elected and stay in power. And it just made me realize you're no different from any other politician from the past or the present. You're just like all the rest. Thanks for the letdown, you salacious turd monkey.
You're not going to use the other one? Or is that only reserved for videoists?
Yeah, all right. Justin Trudeau has now earned the title of Stimpy McChucklefuck.
She would have lost her shit, man.
Oh my God, I would have died of a popcorn overdose from watching that rant.
You know what would have happened? Honest and truly, I can tell you exactly what would have happened.
You'd have to turn her mixer volume down on your end.
I would have done the opening. I would have introduced us, and I would have said, folks, she has the floor. And that would have been it for 3 hours.
Yep. And the only reason she would have stopped is because her throat had gone raw.
Yep.
And then she would have passed the script to one of the rest of us to finish it up for the next 3 hours.
God. It see, now, some folks might be thinking, that's funny. That's cute. That's adorable. No, you don't understand how close to reality that would have been. You really, really would have been.
And
And
as terrible as it sounds, it's still, I honestly, it would have been a work of art
oh hell yeah.
to watch that. You know, I wouldn't say she was quick to anger. Now she was okay with harsh words and she was okay with rebuttals and, raising her voice and stuff like that. But honestly, that would have been a nuclear explosion right there. And I don't think we ever witnessed anything like that. At least I did.
Oh hell no.
The time she was here.
No. There is nothing that we had ever you know what? What was the most angry thing that we ever heard out of her? You know what?
I don't know.
I don't think that we ever heard anything that was truly angry. She had frustrations with various things.
Yeah.
She very much had blow-offs, if you will, but it was all in laughing and mockery of all of the guys who were Muslim,
Yeah.
who were hitting on her left, right, and center.
It was one of those things where she could take it and just shrug it off.
Yeah, and
And
she
laugh
brought
about it.
and she brought it to us, and we all had a good laugh about it. And she was, I don't think that she ever said it, but basically the overall was get bent.
Yeah, pretty much.
My God, we would have actually seen her angry. Good God, we would have actually
Yeah.
seen her angry.
That would have spilled over onto this show, all her Facebook posts, and
And
she'd be on Beyond the Trailer Park
oh my
to
God,
just. She would have phoned into everybody. Like, oh my God, she would have gone after so many people with that one. Like,
good Christ.
just knowing how she was, and what got her dander up, and given the fact that we went to that convention that talked about this kind of stuff, for that to hit home that hard, oh,
Do you remember if she knew about it going into the
I
thing?
think she did.
But probably not
Um,
nearly to. I don't think anybody really had like real knowledge of just how bad it was that was outside the circles of it all.
That's the point, yeah. And the thing is, to hear a native person talk about it, you'd be like, what is this? Where are you getting this from?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I
but-
remember hearing the reports of people who were just like, what the hell? It couldn't have been that bad. Oh my God. Do you know what that is? That's the same goddamn thing that happened. There was a British World War II spy who got himself intentionally captured in France so that he could be sent off to one of the concentration camps in Poland. And potentially, I don't remember which camp he ended up at. I think Auschwitz. I think. I could be wrong. I'm very likely wrong. Broke out, came back to the British military to explain to them what was going on, and they basically poo-pooed it and said, no, it couldn't possibly be like that. Nobody would ever do something like that. You're wrong. He went back, did the same thing, and also broke out again and came back and confirmed it all with them. And oh my God, it's basically the same goddamn thing.
Yeah.
Who in the hell would ever do something like that? You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it was for me for the longest time. I thought like this can't be that bad. But then when the graves were found, I was like, uh-oh. And then when everything else came out, and now there are calls to get the records from the government, like the Truth and Reconciliation Commission is petitioning to get these documents of who was in these places and who was in charge. Like, this turned a lot of stuff upside down. And Christianity as an institution is hemorrhaging people left and right these days. And we've said that, and I'm pretty sure we got the numbers behind it where people are just saying that no, they're not part of any faith anymore.
Yep.
And now we're seeing less official religious stance and more of the the cultural stuff that I was talking about before, where now it's all the stuff that's passed down from from your elders to you about how you're supposed to live. And it's it's now ingrained into a cultural thing where, well, I believe it because my grandma believes it or something like that.
Yep.
Something like this, and finding out that the churches were part of it, or that they're the ones that ran these places as they did.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't exactly call that a good endorsement of wanting to sign up with them, or become part of, that whole thing. This didn't do him any favors, that's for sure.
Nope.
Yeah.
And another piece about it that would have absolutely, if we thought she would have been pissed at all this stuff going on. Brigid, I want you on this one. What do you think her reaction would have been when the reports were that the Holy Roman See has basically said, oh, yeah, well, they were archdioceses, but they were basically operating on their own. They're not really part of us. So we're not really responsible for what they do, even though they're under our jurisdiction. So, yeah, we're not going to do anything about this. Remember that?
Yeah.
I got 2 words for that. The first word for the first discovery was Hiroshima. The thing about the Holy See doing that? Nagasaki. That would have been the second explosion that was heard around the frickin' world. Oh, God, she would have had an aneurysm.
There wouldn't have been much left of Southern Ontario, let me tell you.
Okay, my inner cynic is screaming stuff right now, but I'm not going to get into that because that would be another 5-hour show.
Uh-huh.
But, okay, I want to introduce a little levity into this. Again, at her expense.
Okay.
And this is what this was my preview before the show. Okay. Before I came on tonight, I was doing a birthday party in Second Life for a friend of mine. DJing. And it was a furry club, so everybody was in more or less non-human avatars, as we do.
To be expected.
And a few of the more equine persuasion came in.
Of course.
As they do, and words got spoken around. And I had no part in this, and Phyllis will back me up on this because she was there. I'm not entirely sure what prompted it, but there was talk about humans having a affinity or a preference for those of a more equine persuasion. And then somebody said, wait for it. Somebody said, wait, wasn't that something in the Bible?
Ezekiel 23:20.
And
and the heavens parted, and the sun shone down upon Dalan, and he said to the masses, yes, yes, millions of times, yes, my calling has come. Or something along those lines, I'm guessing. I'm guessing pretty much like that. By the way, I'm so sorry. When you look over the waveforms afterwards, if it's just basically a rectangle, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry.
But yeah, and my jaw hit the desk. I was laughing. I was in tears. I was laughing so hard. So trust me on this one. Like everything Heretic Woman used to say about that particular Bible verse, which I'll be quoting in a moment.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I was
Put it
going to
this
ask.
way. When you run it through the filter of certain select members of the furry fandom, it gets good. Just trust me on that one. Yeah, a lot of things came up. Size Queen. I think the word bukkake came up once or twice. Wasn't entirely. No, it was my fault. I'll own that one.
That's fair.
Okay, so for the record, for the official record, Ezekiel 23:20 reads, and I quote,
From which version?
this is the NIV, whatever that means.
New international version.
Thank you.
The fact that we have to specify which version should tell all you people exactly what we think about how truthful the Bible is.
Anyways.
You have the floor, sir.
Yes, so Ezekiel 23:20 reads as follows. There she lusted after her lovers, whose genitals were like those of donkeys, and whose emission was like that of horses.
Or in today's day and age, a fire hose.
Now, I got a little curious. Because, as we know, when you take one thing and quote it, you can be accused of quote mining, or the ever-present, you're taking it out of context.
Out of context, yeah.
Yep.
Now, so I decided to go a little bit further. I pulled the lens back a little bit to the entirety of Ezekiel 23.
Oh, God.
It is a story, a parable, if you will, called Two Adulterous Sisters.
Wait,
This
I
has
think
got-
I found that in the Triple X section of the store before.
You
Jack,
can't even
you-
say it straight, man. You're too drunk
Jack?
for this show. Shut up.
No,
I haven't had enough coffee.
Tech, you have no idea.
Yes, I do. I read the Bible.
This reads like one of the most depraved and explicit snuff flicks I've ever seen.
See,
You know
here's the
what?
thing about the Bible. When my dad wanted me to read the whole Bible, one of the things he said to me was, there are going to be sections in here that bad things happen, and there are going to be things in here where you might not understand. Please ask me if you don't. Yeah, there were some things in there that I looked up in the dictionary and other such on an encyclopedia and a bunch of other things, because there was no way in hell I was going to ask my parents about some of that shit.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let me
Yeah. You know
let
what?
me dial this one back a little bit, if you'll permit me.
Yeah, depending as to how much time this is going to take, maybe this is going to close us out. So keep apprised of this, you guys.
Okay, no, I'm just going to go back 4 verses
That's fair.
to verse 16. So this is from Ezekiel 23:16. And what they're talking about is one of 2 sisters who survived. Both of them got into prostitution at a very early age. One went a little bit too far, got killed. The other one, instead of being scared of the fact that her sister got killed, decided, no, I'm going to amp this up to 11. And she was basically going after everybody. So anyways, so apparently she has a particular like of person, and then she found some other people that she really liked. And this is how it went. As soon as she saw them, she lusted after them and sent messengers to them in Chaldea. Then the Babylonians came to her, to the bed of love, and in their lust they defiled her. After she had been defiled by them, she turned away from them in disgust. When she carried on her prostitution openly and exposed her naked body, I turned away from her in disgust, just as I had turned away from her sister. Oh, by the way, this is God talking. Yet she became more and more promiscuous as she recalled days of her youth, when she was a prostitute in Egypt. There she lusted after her lovers whose genitals were like those of donkeys, and whose emission was like that of horses. So you longed for the lewdness of your youth, when in Egypt your bosom was caressed and your young breasts fondled. I'm going to put the link to this in the notes so that you can put this in. Needless to say, if this is what guys like the Calvinists and stuff and people are, treating as, some kind of a holy book, and it's got stuff like this in it, when you think about all the cases of sexual abuse on the part of religious institutions, it kind of makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. For the moment, I got very, very little of anything else. Tech.
It's just, yeah.
Yeah, Tech, anything you wanna add onto that?
No, that's good.
I can't say so.
I'm just saying that if it was written today, in today's day and age, it probably would also include the use of a butt plug.
Not
well.
It's not a non-work. It's not an NSFW. I can't say what I'm thinking right now. And as I told Dalan last night, with how loud my keyboard is, I really can't type it either. So I'll tell you after we get off the show. Brigid? I mean, what last thing do you want to say about that little Spitfire now that she's not here?
I really, really miss her. And I've got a picture of her that's, tucked in, the mirror on my dresser. So that's like one of the first things that I see when I wake up in the morning is her.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I'm so glad that Arno, kept in touch. He doesn't really, talk much. He's kind of a quiet person, very mellow, very zen. But his way of keeping in touch with me is to send me really horrible dad jokes on Facebook and really bad puns.
Yeah, he does that, doesn't he? Well, I still got a couple of moments over here. Dalan, anything that you wanted to add off after that? Because you were speaking for God. I mean, it's kind of hard to top that, I would think.
Yeah.
I miss her. I miss the laughs. I miss the rage.
Yeah.
I miss the way she could disassemble an argument from somebody, and in such a way that it was complete. Like, there was, when you can bring somebody down to the point where all they can do is just, mumble, Jesus, 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 borrowing from the scathing atheist. She did that.
Oh, yeah.
And like, she could one-shot these people. She made arguing against theists look easy. And I wish I had a 10th of that finesse.
Yeah.
Like, when Hitch died, we lost a pillar in that fight.
Yep.
With her, I think we lost another one. Sadly, one that not everybody knew, but
Yeah.
how fortunate were we to have lived and to have known her and to have witnessed her in action. We were lucky.
Damn straight. Let me leave you with this. On my Facebook, which, by the way, let me cover a couple of pieces over here so you can see it. I have, there we go, tilt that a little bit differently. I have a picture of her that has been circulating with a red ring around that, on that profile picture. That ring says, and reminding you it is red, it says, Certified Red Shirt. Essential but expendable. She'd love it. She absolutely would own that. And kind of did. And
Yeah.
She would probably also laugh about the red ring and make a Microsoft Xbox joke.
Given that I just recycled mine today, yeah.
You know, never really thought about that.
And that flaming red hair of hers, that was her natural color.
You know what? Let me close it correctly.
Ah,
Because
there you go.
she had her little headband with a little tiny colander on it, which was adorable. For those of you that are listening, I have added my colander because this was my grandma's. I don't use it for cooking. I have it over here as a prop. God, I thought that fell off my head there for a second. I was paranoid. You know, when we lose someone, when we lose a life, we know it's forever. And we have a hard time with this concept. And by us, I mean humanity. We have a hard time with that concept that people are just gone. Lives are just ended. This collection of electronics that are biological just quit. And a very unique piece of the universe is gone. In the grand scheme of things, 100 years from now, I know full well that nobody is going to remember my name. All right, I would like to think that maybe somewhere out there is a digital file that's finally circulated, and maybe one last time somebody will notice it. That'd be nice. Who was the original Tribble in the fandom? I think I remember who that was. But you know what? Being remembered isn't always the most important part. The most important part is making a difference, impacting the lives that you come across, and with any luck whatsoever, making those lives better so that they can do the same thing and share it out. To say that she did that she accomplished that, is an understatement. She was not a pillar. She was a nail. She held a lot of things together. And I don't think that I can ever be that good either. For one thing, I don't have nearly enough RAM in my computer to keep that many tabs open in Chrome and not have the goddamn thing fall apart. And before you think I'm joking, nah, man, it's true. She knew her stuff. That was the biggest reason why I always gave her crap about it. Because she knew her stuff. She had tabs upon tabs upon tabs of data open because she knew her stuff. More importantly, she knew where she kept it. You want to be a good person? You want to be one of these minor pillars for society? Follow her example. Be a good person. When all is said and done, be a good person. Do what you can for others. Do what you can for yourself. And live a legacy where once you're done, you piss off everybody else that you had to leave. I'm pissed that you had to leave so soon. And there wasn't a goddamn thing that any of us could have done about it. And I'm just as happy, and maybe even more proud, that I got the chance of meeting you before it had to happen. We miss you. We honor you. And God damn it, if there is an afterlife, so help me, I'm going to kick your ass left, right, and center, making me sad. But that's an argument for another day. Because that day's probably not ever going to happen. We have to cherish the people that we had when we had them. And I think we have. We need to get out of here. as always, everybody, thank you very much for being with us tonight. We hope that you have found something worthwhile in all of our perspectives, and you got something to think about for the week ahead. And before we actually properly close out with everybody else, I think it's fair to say, on behalf of all of us, with any luck, Arno, if you get the chance to hear this, please know that all of our hearts are with you. You and Sammy have been and will continue to be. You guys are still part of our family.
Yep.
Tech, glad you're able to make it, man. You take good care of yourself and stay safe out there. Lord knows I'm sure the weather wasn't real happy for you either.
It's not been too bad. It's good in a way. The long freezes are what calls the bugs. And so, this upcoming spring and summertime, it shouldn't be as bad as it was, the past couple of years. Thanks to this nice long freeze.
Yep. We shall see.
Yep. You have a good night too.
Thanks, man. Brigid, I think we need to kind of dial it back a little bit. I think we used more than our fair share of F-bombs for the night. I'm not entirely sure what you want to go ahead and slam, but I know full well that I've got about 600 pages of documentation that I'd like to go ahead and parade around, but that's just me.
Okay. I'm gonna say Josh Hawley, Ron DeSantis, Madison Cawthorn. I mean, really?
That's fair.
And Gorsuch and Kavanaugh and Thomas and Amy Covered Barrett. Just fuck off.
Yeah, that's fair. Glad you're able to make it. I'm glad you're feeling better enough that you didn't sleep another 17 hours. You take care of yourself, huh?
Yeah, no doubt. That was some nap.
See, this is why we have to keep the booze away from this girl.
It wasn't booze. I was just so fatigued and so still feeling bad.
Glad you're able to make it, though.
Yeah, me too.
Dalan, yeah, what can we say? She's in denial really hard, isn't she? Do we need to have an intervention? Southern girls can't hold their liquor, can they?
Well, it depends on the Southern girl. I've known a few.
Yeah,
I mean, I can, but I haven't had any in a really long time.
See, now you're getting argumentative. Now you're getting, this is not a good look for you, hon. Just accept that, we've got the best heart for you. Just
I was drinking Sprite.
Sprite, she
Over
says.
ice. Over ice.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, that was a good call, by the way. I'm glad I was about to say, I'm so glad you pulled that out, but really, that's not the way to lead out for that Bible verse. God damn it.
I don't know. I think the woman in question in that Bible verse probably wouldn't have minded it, but that's another story entirely.
See, and people wonder, the DJ doesn't really go ahead and zero himself, does he? Yes,
Yeah.
I freaking do.
Yes.
I did not intend to say that the way that it came out, and god damn it. Stopped it 2 inches from my lips before I stopped it. It was like a freight train that just didn't want to. God damn it.
Oh, if anybody is interested in seeing this, and this just threw me off on a tangent, sorry, but at that racing con that we went to where I met Heretic Woman,
Yeah.
No Illusions and Eline Heath did a hell of a roast on some people, and it was hilarious. But one of the other cool things that I saw was readings from, Song of Solomon.
Oh God.
And Kara Santa Maria, she's a science educator and really brilliant. But she and David Fitzgerald read some from the Song of Solomon, and it was set to really bad 70s porn music. It was hilarious.
Bow chicka wow wow.
Implying,
And the fact that the fact that it probably fit is even worse to think about.
yeah, implying that there is any good 70s porn music.
But it was just hilarious, and she was reading it, and he's like, ooh. It was very suggestive.
You have yourself a, well, hopefully not a flooded week ahead of you, Dalan.
Yeah, and hopefully not to. Hopefully the moose won't be coming to lick my car anytime soon.
Ooh.
That is
just
not a
don't cover your
euphemism.
car in salt.
That is not a euphemism.
Just don't cover your car in salt.
Good
Well,
luck.
the thing is, though, Tech, like we were saying, the ice is melting here, so the roads that were sanded and salted, it's all starting to end up on the car. Like right now, a lot of cars out here are saltier than most games journalists. Oh,
Da-da-da.
yeah.
Are we still live?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, we
still
are.
alive.
So, what would you like to plug, Dalan? And thank you very so much for the.
Yeah, apparently I just killed Shujin's bandwidth again, thanks to my uploading and getting caught up on the now recently returned holycrapthevlogcast.com. There was a bit of a problem with the website, but that's now been fixed. Yeah, that's about all I got for now. The material's written. I just need to sit down and actually do it to eventually get my own podcast up and running again. It's just been a matter of sitting down and actually doing the recording. So we'll see what happens.
Fair enough. And of course, over on the live chat, I didn't get you guys first off this time. Sorry, the way things have been going. Felix and Stephanie, you guys take care of yourselves too. Stay safe, especially. And yeah, and Steph out there, just, we know it's been bad. We hear the numbers and such coming out from over there, and full well there's not a hell of a lot of anything that we can really do about it from our side. Just the equivalent of thoughts and prayers sucks, but we kind of are hoping that rationality wins out in the end. I wish there was more we could give you. Stay safe as best you can, of course. All of our contact information is over at holycrapthevlogcast.com. The phone number, if you'd like to leave a message, is country code 1, because, of course it is. 859-HCTV-554. 859-4288-554. I have refused to do that double number thing that you guys in the UK do so easily. I don't get it. It's a special kind of magic that freaks me out. I can't stand it. Oh, God. It's as bad as hearing how with the old money system, everybody was able to figure out it's 16 shillings to a pound and 14 pounds to a liter, whatever the hell it was. And you guys just rattled this shit off like it was another, and everybody's just like, decimal numbers, what the hell are you people talking about? There's a Frantics episode all about that. Maybe I should find that. Dalan, put the thing over there that I need to find that Frantics episode, would you? Decimal numbers, thank you, I appreciate it. Any case, we'll be back next week. We, assuming that weather cooperates and we don't have to worry about, power going out. I know I've jinxed it, whatever. But we'll be here. Like I've said before, we will continue to be here for you to try to help waylay some of this, crap that's gone on. Just know that we're here for you. And we're going to continue doing the best that we can. If there's a story you want us to cover, let us know. Take a swing over to the Discord. Get us over on Twitter, whatever. And we'll be more than happy to interact with you. Because, that's what we do. Because, we've supposed to have a life. Okay, so basically we borrowed hers. So, what are you going to do about it? In any case, we will catch y'all that next time. So until the next time we get together, As always, I wish you all the peace I no longer have. I wish you the strength that I've learned. I wish you well. And my lady, it's too damn many years later, but I am still in love. Matane Fujin. I love you. I miss you. Dream of me. So until the next time we're together, everyone. Good night. Ba-da-ba. There it is.